Welcome back, Halo followers. Who needs campaign DLC or firefight maps when you can make your own? Quite frankly, what 343 just revealed here is got my head spinning. I mean, this is unbelievable. You can spawn up to 43 variants of campaign AI units. You can also have up to 32 on the battlefield at any given time, right? They showed off how the node system worked with the AI, so essentially you can make your own firefight maps with drop pods, with phantoms dropping in banished units, with marines even attacking you or switching sides depending on what happens in the node graph system and how you script it. I mean, the possibilities here have just opened up to being infinitely insane, especially for firefight and for some dynamic gameplay that we have never seen before and could honestly be revolutionary. It's really a big milestone in the Halo history books, isn't it? You can guide their movement path, you can change difficulty level with this AI as the game goes on, behavior modifiers, node graph scripting logic. There are so many nodes, and you can switch allegiances pretty easily. So breaking down this large article, I've just kind of highlighted the most important, most juicy parts here. Is that they say that Season 5 is an introduction of the AI toolkit. Obviously, we're going to talk about all the things I just discussed. You can drop off normal ground units with the AI Phantom Spawner. It can also drop a Chopper, Ghost, or Wraith, and they're talking about bringing in the Pelican so that they can drop in UNSC vehicles later on, probably in Season 6 maybe. But the controls that you have here in Forge, there is just so many different options, not only for just setting up your own firefight maps, creating your own worlds, your own campaign missions, your own little progressive missions like Left 4 Dead missions. You can do this with all kinds of different settings, capture the flag while you're doing PvP. I mean, it's so nuts. So they say the 43 types of campaign units that can be spawned in to the AI toolkit are the Grunt, Jackals, Skirmers, Elites, Brutes, Hunters, Marines, and Bosses. And so they list out the variants here. So I'm guessing that the bosses are probably going to be under the elites or hunters or whatever, these other groups here, but perhaps the bosses are going to be something added later on, because they say that there's only 2 bosses. They actually did spawn the that monitor guy in the gameplay, but it was too big for the area that they had him in. But basically you can have up to 32 AI units on the map at any given time, which is nuts. We also have something called the AI Move Zone, where it's basically you can lay out a very easy path. They worked really hard to make this easy to script, by the way. So the AI Move Zone is just going to be a place where the AI are told to go. They'll walk to it if they're outside of it, or they'll patrol each zone that you set up automatically. So this could be really, really great, and it could be a really fun kind of survival firefight experience that you could set up here. If you place multiple move zones, you can actually dictate where the AI units will move, especially allowing you to make a squad of patrol units that will scout a certain area on your map, not just campaign or, multiplayer maps here, but made by 343, but also on your Forge maps, right? It's a big deal. We have easy, normal, heroic, and legendary. We have those being able to easily be changed depending on how you want your experience to be set up. It can also change automatically. There's a dynamic node setting. There's also a player count difficulty multiplier. So yeah, you can change it up. It goes up and down depending on how many players there are, or you can just set it to default. You basically have all the control you would want here. We actually have a few AI behavior modifiers, including deaf, so the AI units will not perceive audio cues such as gunfire. We have blind. AI units will not perceive visual cues. We also have inactive. AI units will not do anything. And magic sight, which we will probably want on a lot of Forge maps, AI units will be able to see enemies through walls and terrain. They will come running after you. So I can see that this is going to be absolutely insane, super fun, especially with those brutes, those speeder brutes that just, rush you. I think those are going to be so fun, especially if you have hordes of them and you got to defend from them. I think there's so many unique, fun experiences that are about to open up this game in so many different ways. We have always wanted Halo to be played like, right? We also have AI allegiance, which can work up to 8 different team allegiances. The campaign AI can be told to work with you, against you, or there could even be a button, say on the map, that you can press that will make all the AI turn to your side, or just the hunters, or just a certain squad, or all the future phantoms, or something like that. Or maybe even spawn a phantom. I mean, you just think about it, and it's probably possible. As part of 100+ new nodes being added to Forge this season, more than 75 of them are focused on the AI toolkit. So they showed this off a little bit during the presentation at the World Championship. It's nuts, right? For example, with scripting, you can set up that AI unit spawn wherever a player enters a trigger volume or presses a switch. With just a few nodes, a spawner more advanced scriptors could make a button that spawns friendly hunters for whoever can reach it. That would be awesome. You can make custom events out of various things like AI changing combat state, a squad arriving at a certain move zone, or whether a squad came from a spawner with a specific label. We also created nodes that will manage waves of enemies so you can build firefight-like experiences, or avoid the hassle of triggering spawns yourself. So yes, you can create your own firefight maps this way, guys. I mean, the possibilities are endless, and not only that, they can dynamically change based on if you really want to put the time into it. Forgers can make firefight maps that are different every single time you play them, with a different type of enemy, with a different type of wave. I mean, there's just so much you can do here. Besides managing spawns, they say you can also do things like kill all the squads on a map, set health bars visible with a single node, and make a squad follow an object or player, or set up an object or something that an AI can target. So they could even target objectives or follow a flag, so you have 10 banished defending a flag that you need to capture. I mean, it's nuts, right? I mean, this is unbelievable. So some of the options here for Forgers is going to be deathless, so you can just kind of walk around the map and work with the AI, see what they're doing. Valhalla prevents the player and all AI from dying. Undetectable to AI. Squad information and pathfinding information, which is going to make it really easy for Forgers to understand what's going right and what's going wrong on their maps, and debug. Someone even constructed a tower defense mode, which I love. I'm just a sucker for tower defense games. I love them so much. I get addicted to them all the time. So yes, I've been thinking about that lately. I think that would be so fun to have a tower defense mode. Barrage, a brand new canvas coming out next week, is themed around what remains after a banished bombardment. So it's this kind of like wasteland, right? Kind of reminds me of Lord of the Rings a little bit, honestly. The play area is blackened and littered with craters, some of which have been filled with water. Broken and dead trees are scattered throughout, with a handful of unscathed trees on the outskirts of the play space. So there's also permafrost, which is the snow map. And this is between a sharp mountain peak surrounded by frozen ponds, ice, and snow, dusted, jagged mountains. So this is going to be great for ice theme maps, snow theme maps, and it sounds like it's not coming immediately, because they said the other one was coming like next week, but they didn't say anything about permafrost exactly. Just the wording made me think that this is coming later. There's also over 100 banished theme objects joining the lineup here, they say, which we saw a little bit of during some gameplay during that Season 5 trailer. As expected, there's also over 100 new winter objects that will be at our fingertips. This includes large ice jagged rock things. This also includes like the normal plants, but covered in snow. And I'm hoping that there's some trees. We haven't seen the trees yet. Maybe there won't be trees for this map, which would be kind of disappointing, because that's all we've been asking for here. But I'm not actually upset or disappointed. I mean, this is amazing. Forge object collision toggle. This is another big one. In addition to the standard normal physics or phase settings for objects, you can turn off collision entirely with a no collision setting. Now you can disable the collision on that light or that object entirely without consuming any budget on, the blockers. We also have a light generation improvement. This is actually pretty big, and it carries over to Forge and the lighting in Forge. So yeah, we've optimized light generation times, they say, drastically for all platforms. Naturally, this may depend on your platform of choice, but the change should be quite notable. So they're talking about when you render your map with the lighting. But there's tons of new options here we'll get into. We have minimal roughness, we have area lights, we have light group spec control, right? And near to and far begin optimization. So all of this is just going to be really big, but I'm really excited for well, there's also rotating OBBs. and then there's volumetric fog per light. And I always felt like the volumetric fog could be improved a little bit, but this is great. You can actually change this up and down instead of it just being universal. New gobos and light cones, that's going to be big patterns and lights on your light texture. And first person contact shadows. And we actually do see a little bit of the changes here. And so basically, it's not a big deal, but also it makes the game look a little bit more polished and finished. And they say reflection, volume improvements, intensity scaler is active and blend on top. So they're adding new scalers, they're updating Forge. I love that 343 is investing a lot of time and energy into Forge because I do think it could really be a good pillar moving forward on Halo. They just need some way to reboot this game in a strong way, but I feel like everything is needed. Now they just need to somehow get this game back into the hands of the masses. They need to fix a few more things, but if they could just, advertise, get a battle royale in there or something. I mean, people are already making their own battle royales on Forge, but we also have this one that's kind of a big deal, massless children prefab property. And for example, they say a warthog with a prefab welded to it feels heavy and can exhibit some wonky behavior. So they fixed that. So you can make your own vehicles, basically. You can make your own types of vehicles or like based on the current vehicles that exist and attach things to it and make prefabs out of it. So that's really freaking awesome. I expect people to start actually making some really cool drivable vehicles and custom games now. We also have, mouse and keyboard improvements here. I'm guessing that they're probably going to talk about quality of life stuff soon. But, to wrap it up, we have Forge AI toolkits, 2 new canvases coming, 200 plus new objects, object collision toggle, lighting improvements, additional quality of life updates, and bug fixes are all coming together. And this is just freaking unbelievable. I mean, I actually played on the 2 new maps, Prism and Forbidden, and I think Forbidden feels kind of bizarre as a Halo map in a good way. It doesn't feel like necessarily a 343 map, and it kind of does too. I don't know, it just something about it. I like it. I think it's a new, refreshing take on a Halo Infinite map that is going to change the gameplay quite a bit. It really does stand out with the long hallways and snipe lines, but Prism's also very cool. Anyways, guys, that'll be the update for now, but there is, of course, a lot more to chew into and think about because this is just a little bit of the news, but I wanted to get this out as soon as possible. I went to the Halo World Championship on Friday, and it was freaking awesome, and met lots of cool people. But I will see you guys in the next one very soon. Peace.